What up, YouTube? J-Dub here, and today I'm basically doing something that I kind of did almost a year ago, and I'm going to do a review of the Indian Challenger, but after I've got 1,000 miles on it. Uh, I pretty much said in some previous videos that me, my buddy Ryan, and another couple friend of ours, um, we all went down to southern West Virginia for the weekend, and my throat was super scratchy, so I didn't get a lot of footage coming back, and I didn't film it right this second. This is about a week ago that this happened. So, like I said, I figured, what the hell, I'll go ahead and do a review now. I'm going to try to integrate some of the pictures and footage that I have from the trip, but I did not film a bunch of the trip. Mainly because, A, it was supposed to be just a nice, relaxing vacation, and it was. It was just what I needed. It was so much fun. But also, I realized that I'm going to have to get a little bit of different equipment if I'm actually going to film while riding. What I have just isn't going to work to make it worth actually looking at. So, basically, I'm going to get into this and tell you what I think. All right, guys, so basically we started off the, I don't want to say trip, but we rented the motorcycles from St. Clairsville, North Star Polaris, an Indian dealer out there in eastern Ohio by Wheeling. And I must say, if nothing else, they were fantastic. The lady there that handles the rentals, Holly, was fantastic. Very nice woman. But basically, it was super simple, guys. The rates, I think, like $150, $160 a day or something. Unlimited miles. So that I thought was really cool. It differs from bike to bike, though, so if you're interested in renting, you might want to give them a call and double check. Plus, I believe the more days you rent the bike, they're going to give you a little bit of a deal. But she was great. The dealership was great. We took off Friday morning and headed on up. Mickey rode with me. We got there about 11 o'clock-ish, and we picked up the bikes. And the only real complaint that I have about the renting process, and this is probably nitpicky, I guess, but I have to believe that when people rent these bikes, they rent them two up pretty often. When we made the reservation 5 months ago, we were very specific that, hey, we would like to make sure that when we rent these that they're going to have backrests. Ryan's wife and my wife will not ride on the back without a backrest, and I don't expect her to. It's just it is what it is. So we wanted to make sure there would be backrests available for the bikes. Now, they did have backrests on each of the bikes. Ryan had rented a 2021 Dark Horse Chieftain, and I had rented a 2021 Dark Horse Challenger. The backrest that was on the Challenger was a very cheap, not good Amazon backrest as far as I could tell. I tried looking up to see what the brand was, but I couldn't even find a specific brand, which tells me that it's a cheapie. It's a cheapie one. They needed a backrest. This is the backrest they got. And the other backrest was a chromed backrest from Indian, the 12-inch backrest from Indian. It was an actual Indian backrest, which on the demo ride, that's what me and my wife had used on the demo, and she really liked it. It gave her good upper back support, and so that was the backrest we assumed we would be getting because it's an Indian rental, so why wouldn't it? They had put the Indian backrest on the Chieftain, and they had put the cheapy backrest on the Challenger. So I was like, okay, that's fine. It's a backrest. I can't really say much about that. Until we got down the road about 60, 70 miles, this was going to cause a very serious problem with my wife's lower back because this backrest offered zero support. And Ryan, being super awesome, was nice enough to take the Indian backrest off of the Chieftain and swap them because we had known that the Indian backrest worked for Mickey, and we really didn't want to have an issue going down to West Virginia where a sciatic nerve problem would have developed or something like that. So we swapped them. After that, we were good. We were definitely good. The cheapy backrest just wasn't going to work for my wife, and I don't know if we could have done the trip as smoothly with that backrest on the back. Now, Ryan's wife, never having actually used it, got through it okay, but at the same time, she wasn't super psyched about that backrest either, and I can completely understand why, guys. This thing had zero support. It was a very not nice backrest, and I would think, as if you're going to rent Indians, wouldn't you want to promote the accessories that Indian offers? And what I mean by that is, why would you not have 2 or 3 of these backrests, like the Indian backrests, like there? I cannot believe that we are the only 2 renters that have ever said, hey, we need backrests, and I know if you had rode this bike with that cheapy one, there was no way you were comfortable, period. 2 different people tried it, both people told me how bad it was, so that was a little disappointing, because I feel that they could have, in 5 months' time, had another backrest ordered and ready to go there, specifically for the rentals, but I mean, and that might be a nitpicky thing because, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that don't ride with backrests. It was surprising to me that they would not want to put some accessories on the rentals to promote Indians accessories. So, there's that. So we picked up the bikes and everything, and after we got the backrest debacle figured out, it was a fun day of riding. We came back to my house here. We ended up loading up the bikes. So one cool thing about this trip was a lot of revelations came forward to me about this bike, about if I were to get this bike, what I would need to do to it, and things like that. This is where I think it's really cool to rent these for a weekend and put it through its paces, because me and Mickey both realized there were a lot of things about it that it's not that we didn't like, just, okay, these are something we're going to have to consider. But anyway, we took off early Saturday morning, and we headed on down to southern West Virginia, and we got breakfast, I believe, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia there. And that was good. Enjoyed that. We rode on down to Charleston, and we took Route 60 out of Charleston, Midland Trail, and we took that all the way down to we went to the Mystery Hole, and we went to Hawk's Nest, then we doubled back and got onto 16, and our Airbnb was actually in Fayetteville, and that was a very, very, very nice Airbnb. I was very pleased with what we got for what we paid for, so no issues there. We also went down and we explored the town of Thurman. That's a really cool thing to try out. I'm into that old history stuff. My family's from southern West Virginia, so a lot of that stuff is my heritage, and I really enjoy teaching people about the old coal mining towns down there and all that kind of stuff, and basically being a tour guide going down there. Sunday, we got up, we got some breakfast, we ended up heading, I laid some flowers on my grandparents' grave down there in Oak Hill. We went back down to Beckley. We checked out the exhibition coal mine, which was really fun. At this point, Ryan had to duck out a little early. He had to head back because his kids had to be picked up and stuff, and we had spent more time in the morning just doing whatever than we anticipated, so he was going to have to duck out early, unfortunately. So there was that. But we also, the other couple, Jesse and Sarah, we did the coal mine, exhibition coal mine tour and all that. We went down to the gorge and rode down the gorge and rode back up. We went back up 16 to 60 and checked out the Cathedral Falls there out by Cotton Hill and Gully Bridge. A lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun. And we ended up making it back late Sunday night, about like 11:30 late. So out way later than we anticipated, but I had already taken Monday off and we had to return the bikes, and we can get back to that in a minute. But yeah, overall, a great trip. So what did I think about the Indian Challenger? And by the way, I want to do another one of these like we did before with Ryan on the Chieftain. That seemed to be a good video that went over well, so we were going to try that at some point. But this is basically for the Challenger. So I am absolutely head over heels in love with the Indian Challenger. I think that is one of the best motorcycles that you can possibly buy on the market, not just in the segment, but just in general. The power of the bike is amazing. I see guys saying that they need more power, and I don't understand that. I mean, I guess everybody always wants more power, but I just don't see me needing to do some like major heavy upgrades to increase power output on the Challenger just because it's already there. There's so much power for anything I could possibly want or need. Now everybody's a little bit different, but that thing pulled through the hills and the mountains down there in West Virginia like a champ. It was wonderful. No issues there. None. Everything went smooth. Everything was very smooth. No reliability issues. We took a small toolkit and a small jump battery pack to make sure in case somebody needed a jump, we had it. But super reliable. No issues there. As far as storage goes, those bags are pretty good sized bags. They held just about everything we needed them to hold. The only difference that I would make next time on a trip like this, I would utilize the luggage rack on the back of the backrest. Maybe get an overnight bag or something back there. But overall, we were able to put me and Mickey's overnight bag in one of the bags, my hat, my gloves, my piece, everything, just a bunch of stuff like right in the first bag. And then in the second bag, we were able to put our hoodies and toiletries and just basically everything else. So now I will admit, we were pretty filled to the gills, which that's one thing that me and Mickey came to the conclusion of, like, okay, this was for a day. If we were actually going to go longer than a day, we would probably have to utilize the rear luggage rack. But not disappointed at all in the amount of space we had in the saddlebags. Sorry, I wanted to change up my seating position a little bit. So no issues there. The seat... Oh, what do I want to say about the seat? I want to say that for a stock seat, it's really good. It's really not a bad seat. For long distance rides, it was manageable, but not ideal, if that's the right way I'm putting it. I hate the idea that I got to spend somewhere between $600 to $1,100 on a seat for a motorcycle. But at the same time, after this trip, keep in mind, over 3 days, I would say we put right at about 1,100 miles on the bike. So, yeah, probably going to need some form of an aftermarket seat. I haven't decided what seat I want to go with yet. I'm leaning towards a Russell Daylong because I've heard nothing but good things about that, but I'm also a little bit worried about that seat because I'm not super tall. I'm about 5'9", and I'm afraid it's going to sit me up an extra bit, and I don't want to sit any higher. I like the stock height of the bike. So that's something we'll get into that later down the road when I actually get one. Yeah, so. But I'm just saying, seat was good, but not great. It's manageable, but there's, as with most things, always room for improvement. Handlebars were fine. Really didn't have any issues with the handlebars. If I was really nitpicking, there were a couple of moments where I kind of wish the bars were sitting about an additional inch or two back. So when I leaned, like I could lean a little bit, but really not worried about that. So handlebars were fine. No worries there. The windshield, the adjustable windscreen. Once again, guys, one of the best features on any Indian bagger, in my opinion. However, I would like to get the flared one. Not that the stock one didn't do well. It did. I really don't need to change the height up or anything. The way it sat was fine, but I would like to flare it. I would like to get the flared one. So there's that. I'm trying to think here. We went those here you go, tires. Those cruise what are they called? Metzler Cruise Techs. They were fantastic. I really liked how well that bike handled everything. We were in some areas where there was a little bit of gravel, loose gravel, and sand on the road and whatnot, just kind of part of riding down there. And it did fantastic. I didn't feel the rear try to slip out from underneath me or anything, and it handled fantastically. So I'm pretty happy with those tires. The brakes, once again, fantastic. The throttle, once again, you got to get used to the Indian throttle. There is just that ever so little bit of lag there. And once you've got it figured out, you're good. But it takes a minute. And especially in low speed maneuvering, you really need to get a good feel for that throttle so you don't have any issues. Like I said, overall, I was not sore. This was to date the longest motorcycle trip I had ever taken. And I really wasn't sore. I mean, up in my shoulders maybe a little bit, but I mean, I'm not in bike shape by any stretch of the means. But yeah, it was a fantastic. I am so reinvigorated for my love of motorcycling after this trip. I know I'm going to get an Indian Challenger. When? Hopefully soon. It won't be this riding season. I can almost guarantee that. There are a few adulting things that need to be taken care of before I can go and drop 30 grand on a bike. And I'm not crazy about the 2022 colors that Indian has chosen. The bike that I had was the Bronze Smoke, and I thought maybe the color would grow on me as the weekend progressed, and it kind of did the opposite. I despise that bronze color. Of course, then again, anything tan, gold, bronze, I hate. I can't stand those colors. I think they are just fugly from the start, and it really upset me because it's like, man, you guys could have given me literally any other color, and I would not have cared, but you gave me the Bronze Smoke, which really sucks, but it was a rental, so it is what it is. But they brought that color back for 2022 and did away with the White Smoke, which really, really pisses me off because I like the Challenger in white. In fact, that would be the color I would get if it was available. So I'm going to probably wait and see what the 2023 color palette looks like. Their icon colors, the orange is okay, but that burnt orange from icon color that came on the Chieftain, in my opinion, was a better color than the new orange burst or whatever they call it on the Challenger. The other two colors, they're okay. They're just okay. Nothing throws me. The Indy Red and the two-tone black looks really nice, but I'm not a red guy. I've never liked any vehicle in red, so it's just not going to work for me. But could go with black, but everybody has black, So we'll have to see how that progresses. But, so the big thing that I gotta say is, so there was a point when I actually dropped the Challenger. We were going down the gorge, and there was loose gravel there. Went to put my foot down, came out, and the bike just tipped. It wasn't like it slid or anything. It just tipped, and it did break the brake handle, the front brake handle. So there was that, and then it did scratch up the Indian emblem on the saddlebag. So, it sucked. I was mad at myself because I know exactly when it happened. I could have done it differently and it probably wouldn't have happened. But then again, I was told by an old motorcycle guy that had been riding forever, he's like, there's two people out there. There's people who have dropped their bikes and there are people that are going to drop their bikes. It is what it is. So, there was that. That was a little bit of my pride was hurt more than anything else. But I'm glad I did it with the rental and not the bike that I actually go to purchase. But what I did realize is, and this is another jab at Indian, I really think it's messed up that now I think the 2022s do, but the 2020s and the 2021s, you get the crash bars on the front with the Limited, but you don't get it on the Dark Horse. I don't get that. I mean, I know it's just one of those things, anything to make some extra money, and they are available, but I mean, that just kind of sucks because it's something else I'm going to have to do, but not just the fronts. I'm going to have to purchase rear ones too. This confirmed that you need crash bars, especially on this heavy of a bike. I mean, we were able to get it up, no problem, and thank God nobody was hurt. No damage really was occurred outside of those little piddly things, but at the same time, it just more or less like, well, what if we had been alone? Would we been able to pick the bike up? How much easier would have everything been had there actually been crash bars? So that's a must. I was going to put front ones on, but I've never been crazy about the rear ones, the way they looked, but I am now convinced, like, for functionality reasons, need to put rear crash bars on the bike. So there's that. Indian's backrest will be a must. I wasn't going to bother with the luggage rack, but once again, this trip brought to light, nope, you're going to need a luggage rack. It will really come in handy to have that. So I'm good with that. And there was nothing about the trip that bike did that I didn't just like, this is it. This is the bike that I want. This is the bike that was built for me. And I'm very much okay with that because after 1,000 miles on the bike, it just reinvigorated my love for motorcycling. And this is the bike that's going to, I think, continue my love for it. When I had my Vulcan, I loved my Vulcan. It's a great bike. But doing this trip on that bike would have really sucked. And I don't know, there are guys out there that ride from LA to New York on a freaking bobber that has no suspension. And you know what? My hat's tipped to you guys, but I'm too much of a puss, apparently, because I just can't. I'm sorry. I like to be comfortable. I don't like being in traction on a motorcycle. And this bike, I think, is going to be the way to do that. But the way it handled, man, it went through all those freaking hollers and just so great. I was very confident in everything I was doing. And even with me dropping the bike the one time, that didn't really sway my confidence in the bike. I know everything I put the bike through, it handled it flawlessly. The dropping of it was my fault. That was me not looking down and putting my foot down in just a bunch of loose gravel. And before I could realize what my mistake was, it came out from under me. That was me. But the bike itself did everything I asked it to, and it did it flawlessly. Like I said, there are definitely some accessories that will have to be done to the bike when I get one, but man, it was such a great trip. And I'm really glad that we did it, and I'm really glad that it lived up to the expectations I had for it, because I was really worried that we were going to take this trip, and by the end of it, I'm like, I don't know if that Challenger is going to be right for me or not. So, but there was none of that. I'm really happy with it. The only other thing, here you go. Here's another complaint, and I've heard they're supposed to be doing it at some point, but once again, I don't believe anything until I actually see it happen. I cannot stand the fact that we get Apple CarPlay on the Challenger, or any of the Indian line for that matter, but we don't get Android Auto. I'm not an iPhone guy, nothing personal, just don't like iPhone. And my wife has Android Auto in the Durango, and it's fantastic, and I love it. And I want it on my motorcycle because that would be so cool. Ryan had the Apple CarPlay on his Chieftain, and because of the communicators, it was great. And I would like to have that option as well with the Android CarPlay or Android Auto. So I'm hoping Indian will do an update or something at some point to where that could become a reality. But outside of that, guys, like I said, I highly recommend this bike to anybody who's looking for a bagger. I will choose this bike 50 times over the Harley Road Glide. It's nothing personal against the Harley Road Glide, but unfortunately, I knew about the things I didn't like on the Harley way earlier on just simple test rides than that of the Indian. So I would imagine those would probably be even worse on a long ride. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Challenger, fantastic. I loved it. I'm really excited to get one. Hopefully that will become a reality in the near future once a few other things are taken care of. You know, like I said, I'm really happy with it. All right, guys, so I'm guessing I probably missed something along the way, some thoughts or something that I probably left out. Like I said, I really want to do another dual spot with me and Ryan with his experience of the Chieftain, and I'm sure there's some things I left out with the Challenger. But I'm really excited to do that, so stay tuned for that video. It'll be coming up some point when I can get over there to see Ryan. Like I said, guys, the channel's been growing, and I think that is amazing. You guys are freaking awesome. I love all the comments and everything I get. I try to get back to everybody I can, but let's keep the channel growing, guys. Please give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below if I missed something. If you have a question or you want my opinion on something, please leave a comment down below, guys. Like I said, I really do try to get to everybody that I possibly can. But like I said, guys, after 1,000 miles, I'm sold. The Indian Challenger is amazing, and that will definitely be the next bike I get. But hopefully we'll be bringing some more videos to you guys here soon. Once again, appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you next video.